school anenge achitidzinga achida kuda mari school fees. Then yasanzwe kuti dai abereki angu aripo aindibhadharira school fees nesitobhuya.
If you're living in Zimbabwe or watching this video from abroad and trying to understand, you'll know that the economy in Zimbabwe right now isn't just about headlines. It's a daily puzzle of survival, right? You've heard about the inflation, you've heard about the currency changes, right? But what does it actually take to get by and get over with it and get even ahead of it, right? So in this video now, we are breaking down the real practical strategies that Zimbabweans are using right now. What are they using those strategies to do? Using the strategies to navigate one of the most challenging economies. In this video, we are breaking down the real practical strategies that Zimbabweans are using right now to navigate one of the world's most challenging economies, right? This isn't just about theory we're talking about, but this is what's happening on the ground. So let's get on to it. Firstly, you have to understand the psychology that we aren't just dealing with prices here. We are not just dealing with high prices, but we are dealing with what experts call hyperinflation induced trauma hits. This is a deep generational fear that the money in our pockets could become worthless at any time. It's not irrational, remember. It's based on lived experiences. The trauma has completely reshaped how we think about money. People who lived through it now have got a very, 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 very deep distrust for local currency and formal banks. They would rather hold their money savings in something which is tangible, so that later on, when they want to sell that thing, they can get the money equivalent to the current currency that is there and the current amount that is there. This trauma now explains why there is such a massive rush to convert Zimbabwean dollars from ZiG to US dollars or to goods that are just tangible. It's not greedy, it's just a survival tactic that the Zimbabweans have come to understand. That this is the key understanding to everything else. So now let's go on to our first tactic. Remember that the formal job market is so tiny and over 75% of working Zimbabweans are in the informal sector. This is the livelihood. This means that your 9-to-5 job, mostly for Zimbabweans, isn't about office work. It's on the streets, it's market, people are hustling, and it's also online, right? We are talking about everything from selling tomatoes, vegetables, even selling clothes on the streets. But it's tough. It's a tough hustle. You're dealing with local authorities each and every day, constantly leading us to have licenses and facing fines. And as a Zimbabwean, how do you think you can survive in such a situation? The key is to be agile. Remember, if one thing isn't selling, pivot to another. Your income isn't just a single salary, because as a Zimbabwean, you cannot live with a single salary. The moment you want to live with a single salary, just know that you are going to struggle for real. It's a portfolio of small cash flows that you gotta have as a Zimbabwean, right? Strategy number 2, now we are talking about the preservation of the money that you have or the values that you have, right? You can't just earn money and you have to stop it from melting away. You can't just earn money, but you have to stop it from melting away. This is a 2-part strategy now. First, you have to get hold and hold US dollars. You have to get and hold US dollars now. Whenever you get the local currency, the immediate goal is to convert it into a stable foreign currency, primarily which is the US dollar. This is your savings account. This is how you pay for big things like school fees or major appliances or even mortgages, right? Secondly, invest in inflation hedge assets. When you talk about inflation hedge assets, this is where the trauma mindset turns into a defensive strategy, right? The most popular asset, property, which is the property, right? We talk about the real estate. Now the real estate is seen as a solid, tangible thing that will be there and hold its value for even if when the currency collapses, right? Other options, we can talk about buying gold or even livestock, but the real one is to invest in real estate or just buying your land. Even when you want to sell it again to other people, you can sell it at a very higher price, because remember, land restores value. Land can keep the value of your money, right? The goal now is to turn vulnerable cash into something durable. The cash that you have at hand, you turn it into something that is going to last you for a lifetime, even when the next generation is coming, right? We go on to strategy number 3. Strategy number 3 now is a very, very tricky one. We are about to be talking about We will be talking about navigating the system. The systems that are already there, or the systems that have been introduced now. There is a push to bring informal business into the formal economy. For you now as a hustler, this means that trying to get the right license and maybe even paying taxes. Why would you do that in the first place? That's the question that most people might want to ask. This is because you want to operate without fear of being shut down. And to maybe one day you have to access real business loans. But let's be real now. It's a difficult path. The regulations can be very confusing and enforcement can be aggressive in this type of thing now. The dream is a system that supports small business instead of just penalizing them. For now, this strategy now is about weighing the options or weighing the cost of compliance against the risk of operating in the shadows. Let's go on to number 4, which is to build climate resilience. Build climate resilience. This might seem unrelatable, right? It might seem unrelated, but it's not. Our economy now is now tied to the land. When the droughts hit, like the terrible one we are now in, or the one which, like, let's talk about the one we are in, like food prices that are skyrocketing, then the whole economy is starting to suffer from that now. For everyone now, or just for anyone, especially those in farming, this means adapting. It's about investing for irrigation. If you can, like, you can just invest in irrigation, right? Planting drought-resistant crops and not relying on a single source of food or income. Because right now, you have to make sure that you are not relying on wheat, but you are relying on those crops that are drought-resistant, or crops that are able to resist the changes or the things that are available, or the traumas or the situation that is available. Let's say when it's very hot, you have to make sure that you apply the concept of farming crops that are able to adapt to the temperatures that are very hot. When it's also winter, you have to apply the concept of farming the crops that are able to adapt the winter temperatures. In other ways, now you are going to diversify, which means that you're not going to be planting the same crops from January to December or in each and every time, but you're going to diversify and be able to and be able to farm different kinds of crops. So now, in this scenario, diversity becomes a survival trick, because you know that in every situation that might come, you are going to be doing something that is going to adapt to that kind of situation now. So diversify your survival just like you diversify your income, right? So to recap now, surviving here requires a multiple or a multi-layered approach, which is one, master the informal currency by creating your own job. Two, preserve the value. Think in US dollars and invest in tangible assets. Remember, tangible assets tend to keep or restore value than any other assets. Number three, we're talking about navigating the system. Try to legitimize your hustle where possible, right? Number four, we talked about building resilience. Prepare for economic and climatic shocks. In this way, now you are able to survive in every situation. So remember that it's a constant daily effort, it's a constant effort. There is a saying that captures the feeling. The Zimbabwean dream is to leave Zimbabwe. And that's a real sentiment for many. But for those who stay now, the story is one of incredible, relentless resilience. Yes. Now, this is a conversation I know I've only scratched the surface, right? So I want to hear from you now. What are your strategies? What did I miss? Share your experience and tips in the comments below. Let's hear from each and everyone in Zimbabwe or around the world how they are surviving. Remember, you gotta share information so that others can survive. So if you found this video helpful, subscribe below and share. And also comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Stay strong. This is Tinotenda, aka Leaders Man, signing out.